I'm here in my living room, ready to give you guys some wisdom on this wonderful Wednesday. And I want to start with a philosophy and then sort of tie it into an element of wisdom that I think has made my life so much better. And the philosophy is something that I call the unity of self. And what I mean by that is that all the aspects of who I am are coming together at one time. And I think there are so many times in life where we're just really focusing on our minds and we're developing our minds, and that mental task is taking all of our energy and we're consumed with it. There are other times when we're very much in our emotions. And I know that the age of reason has kind of infringed upon the rest of time a judgment that somehow emotionality is a form of weakness on some level. And I just kind of fundamentally disagree with that. And maybe not quite as far as the romantics in terms of believing that the thing that essentially makes us human is our emotions, our imagination. There's an element of truth in that, but that's not solely enough for me either. Then we have our bodies, and some of us are extremely devoted to making sure that we're physically fit. And there are times in life where there are things that are going on in our physical body, even that are very difficult, elements of sickness and times of struggling with things physically, where our focus goes on to the body. And then we of course have our spirits and our souls, and there's this whole spiritual aspect of ourselves, which is so important and so much a part of what makes us who we are. And so we have all these different sort of elements of the self that can at different times kind of ebb and flow in focus and importance. But then there are these amazing moments where all of the parts of yourself, and in some ways I just want to argue that's a little bit of a misnomer, that those are parts. They're all a part all the time of who we are. I don't believe that there's ever a time where one or the other is not a part of what is going on. But there are times, special, magical, incredible, wonderful, moving, poignant times, where our mind and our will and our emotions and our spirit, that soul within us, our bodies are all completely present and engaged at once. And here's the part where I get to an element of wisdom that relates to this. I believe that when we avail ourselves to art, that it is one of the most predictable ways that a unity of self moment can happen. I remember a time where Jason and I, this was in 1997, we were in Florence, and we had the opportunity to go and see the statue of David, which is a beautiful, beautiful sculpture created by Michelangelo. It wasn't necessarily my favorite piece of art where I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to go see this one particular thing. But we were in Florence, we better go see David. And so we walked in, and there's kind of a little corridor, and then the area where the statue is almost like a round area, it might be octagonal. And I came through the corridor and I looked up, and in that moment, my breath was just utterly taken away, and tears welled up in my eyes, and I felt emotional, and I felt this spiritual connection to the story of David, this incredible, incredible story. This young man who appears to be weak and exhibits great strength against an insurmountable enemy force. And all of who I was completely present in that moment. And I will never forget it. It made me feel whole. It's one of the moments in my life where I felt absolutely, truly myself. And I have many times when I've been listening to music, or when I've been at a play, I love theater, or when I've been listening to somebody read poetry, or even when I've been reading or writing poetry myself, where I've had very similar moments to that, where I just feel pulled into the moment, fully present with all the aspects of myself converging together. And I think that when we create, that can happen. And then also when we avail ourselves to the creations of other people. There might be other things than art that do that for other people. But I just want to encourage you to find those types of experiences that bring all of your presence all the parts of yourself into presence, and that you then allow yourself to really enjoy that moment and to feel blessed by it. And I think there's a wisdom to orchestrating aspects of your life around things that make you feel completely whole. One more thing that I would say does that is really great conversation. And so very applicable wisdom for you today is to go out and look at some incredible art, and then go sit at a coffee shop or have dinner with some cool people, have a really great conversation about it. Thanks for listening. Feel free to share this if you found it valuable, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day.